This is a short demo for the Family Diagram Maker. In this clip, I'm going to focus primarily on just creating a new program, creating a new diagram, and saving and retrieving the file because it's such an important piece. I wanted a little diagram just for that. So you're going to run the application by going to the URL that you can see my cursor up in the corner here. That'll be the same all the time. It'll be called front end on the tab, but it's family diag for cell.app. And so when you run this, it always loads with a demo app, a demo diagram that you can look at. But regardless of that, you can basically just go to create a new diagram over here and it'll let you start that. But before you even do that, what you want to do is go into settings right here in the middle, click on settings, and you go all the way down to the bottom where it says set backup folder. This is going to allow you to have backups. Right now, I'm making 3 backups. So they kind of go number 1, number 2, number 3, and then number 1. It cycles through. So you always have your current file and 3 different backups. And so let's do that. So we're going to set a backup folder. Now, very important. For example, on a Mac and probably similar on Windows, you may have a default folder like downloads or documents. You cannot, you cannot save to those folders because of security reasons. You have to make your own folder that you will then save to. So we're going to go ahead and make a folder and we're going to call it uh, family diagram maker. You could call it just FDM and whatever you want to call it. You could call it by the family name that you're working with, but you go ahead and create that folder. So now you can see up here in the picker, you've got the folder name. And so you can select that. I've gone down here to the lower right corner and that sets it. And you'll now be able to edit files, anything in that folder. You're giving permission to the web application to be able to work in that folder. This does not get access to your entire computer. And what happens is it makes a backup in that folder to start with. So now we're going to go File, and we want to create a new diagram. We've created our backup folder. Now we can create a new diagram. And right away, it wants to know, what do you want to call this diagram? So we'll call it test 1. And you can see that it's going into the folder that we created. So we do that. It's now called test 1 up here, the top. And we can start working with it. So this is the canvas. This big white area is what I call a canvas. On the right side, there's a properties panel that you'll see. You can make that bigger or smaller by dragging this vertical space back and forth. There's a scroll bar here on the side to pan in the window. So the program uses clicks and right click a lot. So we're going to right click anywhere on the diagram and we want to add a person. We've added a person. Now we want to add a partner to that person. So we click on the person, we do a right click, and we can go add and go down to partner. It's down here because you're not going to be using it a lot. So now we've added a partner and they're in a relationship. We want to indicate what the relationship is. Again, we just click on the dotted line. It turns blue. You may not be able to see it that well. But when the arrow changes shape, the cursor changes shape, you can move this up and down. You know you've got that line, and you can do again a right click, and you can add a child, a male child, a female child, twins, triplets, miscarriage, stillbirth, or adopted child. So you can add children to this couple. Um, so we'll add a male child, but we can also, by right clicking again on that line, we can set the relationship properties. And so we're going to say that this couple is married, and we can now indicate that they are married instead of all these other types of relationships. And their status is that they're married, they're not divorced, separated, or widowed. And we can, if you don't know the full date, you can put in a year and a month, or a year, month, and day in these fields, and it'll still work. So we'll just put in 2020. And so now, and we can close this. So now this couple is shown as being married by the solid line. They were married on that date, um, and they have one son. Now, you may have noticed that the save button is turned red up here. That means you should save the file. There's been a change to it. So we're going to save it. And we know that it's saved because if we actually go down to, say, save as, it will take us into the folder where we're saving. And we can see that test one is saved in there, but we can also see our backup. So we have test one and we have a backup. So the saving is working. So we can move these objects around. These are people objects, person objects, uh, to rearrange the diagram. We can drag across two or more to highlight them. And there are certain properties that you can set with multiple objects. So for example, you could set the size. Um, so we could make these boxes smaller, or we can make them larger, right? We can put a border color on them if we wanted. We can put a background color, and we can set up an emotional pattern between them, but we'll talk about that later. So if this person now has parents, which most of us do, you can come down here. So I've clicked on this person, and I did a right click, and now I can go add, and I can add parents. And that'll put up a set of parents. Oh my goodness, look at, they're way too far up. That's fine. Let's just drag across all of this, highlight everything, and then I can just drag all this down and put it wherever I want it. And likewise, I can drag new partner over here, and I can go add, and I can add parents to that partner. So let's say that we want to start putting in details about this person. We click on the person, and we can go to their properties. So we can do names and dates, and we can format it. We can add sibling position, and we can do family of origin type things. There's a lot here. We're not going to go into it all now, but I'll click on name. And so we'll just call this Jane Deere. Jane Doe, I guess, is appropriate. We could put in her, that is her maiden name, and we'll just save that. And her partner, let's say that their partner is John Buck, and we'll save that. And there's an object here called the family object. And the family object is a topic for its own tape because we can set a whole bunch of properties related to the family itself versus any particular thing for each individual. So let's say this couple is having some issues with conflict. We can indicate that by highlighting both of them. We drag across and highlight them, and then we can right click and we can add an emotional pattern. So we highlight and we right click, add emotional pattern. So emotional patterns are over under adequacy. This would be, you consider this your over under functioning. Dr. Kerr referred it to, being over adequate or under adequate, distance, cutoff, conflict, projection, and to what degree do they have an open connection, a good emotional contact, for example. So let's say that there's some distance in this relationship, and we'll say that it's ongoing. The intensity of it is mild. Down here, we actually have descriptions to help you understand whether it's minimal, mild, moderate that come out of Randy Frost's family assessment. So we'll pick that one. You can put a date as to when you think it started. Let's say this started a year ago, so 2025. You can indicate the impact, minor, frequency. You can put in notes, and then we save it. And so this creates this distant formatted line. And the different lines, the different emotional patterns have different lines to them to indicate the type of pattern that they are. Let's say that Jane also has a symptom, and let's say that she's very worried about um, the relationship, and so we'll say that she has an emotional system symptom. So it's the category is emotional, and the type we're going to say that it's anxiety. These can be set. I just wanted to give you an example of them. And there's lots of other details you can put in here, but for now, we're just going to say that it's minimal and we'll save it. And so what that does is it puts this little circle for an emotional symptom next to the person. So our emotional patterns are represented by lines between people, and emotional symptoms manifest in individuals because of their relationship processes and vulnerabilities. And so that's why they're shown there. So this should give you enough to get started. Just as a recap, very first thing you want to do is go in and set up your backup folder. You want to remember to save often. I haven't, so the button's red. I'm going to save again. That'll create backups for you. You will have to create a folder in which you save things for security reasons. This is a web app. Nothing is being saved on the web. There's nothing in the cloud here. This is all on your computer. If you don't save it, you don't get it, period. So be sure to save often. We use the right click on the canvas to bring up this ability to add people. Um, you can also add yourself as a coach in here and put it anywhere you want. If you happen to be a male person as a coach, you can go down and set the sex or gender of that person object. So we'll just change that to male. Actually, there's far more women in the group, so we will change it to female. And you could put this coach person to show, even though they're working with the entire family, they're going to be mostly in contact with one or two people. Um, so right click on the canvas to add people. Um, right click on a person to set different properties, to add other features, change their sex or gender, and a bunch of other things. You can delete somebody if you want to. Um, Once you highlight two people by dragging across them, you can add what we would call a relationship line to them, show that they're married. These relationship lines you can click on, they turn blue, and right click on that, and you can add properties to the relationship line. Between people, you have emotional processes. And if you click on the emotional process line, it turns blue and you can do things with it. And every time you're working with something, over on the right side here, there's all the details show up in the panel. Um, so we have people, we have relationship lines, partner relationship lines, we have emotional process lines, we have symptoms, and there's much more. But for now, we will save our diagram and we'll say that this demo is finished. Thank you.